Hiya, 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 y'all. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Hello, hello, hello. Happy, happy Saturday. Happy, happy Saturday. Happy, happy Saturday. It's good to see y'all. Thank you for joining me. I pray that you all are having a great day, a good evening, a good morning. Um, what all of the things, a good afternoon depending on where you are around the world. Thank you all for joining me. I pray that you all are well. I pray that you all laugh today, because laughter, and that's why I always say I pray that you laugh, because laughter is, it is an amazing thing. It is something that we all need to do more of, right? And I pray that you laughed. I pray that you had a lot of laughter. I pray that you laughed with the people that you love, even if you were by yourself, right? I pray that you laughed. I pray that you enjoyed. I pray that you made the most of your day. I pray that you had a relaxing day. So as you all come on in, if you would tag 2 or 3 people, make sure that you text this link out to someone that you know. Maybe 2 or 3 people would greatly appreciate it. For those of you all who do not know me, my name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women who desire to make money from the idea that God has given them, all while they're working their full-time jobs, all while they're working their 9 to 5s, all while they are moms, moms, caretakers, and all of the things, because I believe in simplicity. I believe in never overthinking anything. Like, literally, like, that's probably gonna be the first tip that I give y'all tonight. So tonight we're gonna talk about how do you recover from distraction. And one of the things, and I want to paint this picture for you all. So if any of you all have ever ran track before, and if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So if, okay, I'm gonna be real quick, because I know my husband probably gonna want to come in here in a couple of minutes. But if you have ever ran a race, ever ran track before, you start at the start line and you have some people who are competing against you, right? And at, like, your literally your focus, your view is that finish line. Especially if you, whatever the race or the length of the race is, your focus is the finish line. Your focus is making sure that you cross that finish line first. That's literally your focus. Well, the gun goes off and you start running, right? You start running. Your goal is to cross the finish line. Your goal is to make it to the finish line first. But what can happen is whoever is competing against you and with you, they come up on your side. So we have what's known as peripheral vision. And as long as you have a peripheral vision, you can look from your side eye, as they say, and see who's to your left and see who is to your right. And that's probably why I believe the scripture tells us that we should don't look to the left nor to the right, but lift up our eyes to the hills from whence cometh our help. Because he knows that if we look to the left, we'll get distracted. We look to the right, we can get distracted. So when you're running a race, if you're looking to see what your competitor is doing, it will do what? It will take your focus off your initial goal of running that race and crossing that finish line. And then what it will do, it will, excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied tonight. It will cause you to focus on what the person to your left is doing, or what the persons to your left, the people to your left are doing, or what the people to your right are doing. And it will slow you down from accomplishing your goal. And this is what distraction does. My coach, my business coach, she gave a definition, and she said that basically distraction is caused for us to separate, right? To separate. This means, I believe it's to separate, but to cause separation, right? And in this case, it's to separate you from your initial goal, your initial focus. So when you're looking to see what your competitor is doing, you're no longer focused on the finish line, you're focused on the competitor. And what it will do is it will cause you to slow down because of discouragement. It will cause you to slow down because you're seeing what they're doing. You will slow down because of self-doubt. You'll slow down because you're distracted. It's separating you from what is at the finish line, right? So how does a person who is running a race recover from looking to their left? They have to then refocus. So this is the first tip. Keep it simple. One thing about me being a coach is I truly believe that everything in life should be simple. It is not hard. The Bible tells us that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. A yoke, if you look up a definition, it's like one of those things that they put around the neck of a cow to guide the cow in the direction that they want the cow to go in. So when the Bible tells us that his yoke is easy and his burden is light, when he says that his yoke is easy, he's not going to pull you anywhere that you don't want to go, right? He has like a little slight tug where he'll make us aware of whatever it is that we need to be doing. But he's not going to snatch us, so to speak, and some people may disagree with me, but he won't snatch us in the direction that he wants us to go. He'll make us aware of it. So the first thing is we want to keep it simple. Anything complicated, anything confusing, that's the first tip, is not God. So we always want to keep it simple. The Bible tells us that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. So the first tip is, if you want to recover from distraction, if you want to recover from being separated from the idea or gaining traction after you have put the book down for so long or the business down for so long, keep it simple. Okay? So the next thing you want to do, if somebody is running track, right, and they want to gain focus, they want to pick their speed back up, is they have to remind themselves of their initial goal. So that's the second thing you want to do. You want to remind yourself of whatever the goal is that you had. So let's just say that your goal is to write a book, right? And let's just say you put the book aside because you got discouraged. You saw people putting their books out. You probably went into writer's fog, or somebody started talking about the same topic that you had, and you felt like, okay, well, if I write this book, nobody ain't gonna pay attention to you anyway. And that's so not true, because people still need to hear your voice, and what you have to say is relevant, and God wouldn't have given you the idea if he didn't feel like it was relevant. So the second thing is, you want to gain refocus by remembering why you started writing the book. What was the initial goal when God gave you the idea? One thing I understand about God is, again, his yoke is easy. So my relationship with God is, God will nudge at me, right? He'll nudge at me. He'll remind me of something that I need to do until I do it, right? So you need to go back to why you got the idea, why the business was whatever the business's idea was. Why did you want to start the business? Why did you want to write the book? Why did you want to open up the storefront? Why did you want to open up a grocery store in your neighborhood? Why did you want to start the nonprofit organization? Go back and remind yourself why. Was it to help people? Was it to support people? Was it to create a new legacy for your family? Was it to bring an extra stream of income? Was it so that you can set yourself up so that you can quit your job and wake up every morning doing everything that you love because it's no longer work? Discover what the why was in the first place. And what you want to do is you want to write it down. You want to be crystal clear, because I understand, again, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. And when we are clear about the vision, we can run with it, because the Bible tells us in Habakkuk 2:2, I believe it is, to write the vision and make it plain, make it simple. And the reason why you want to make it simple is so that them who see it can run with it. So that when you see the vision that you wrote down, you can wake up in the morning with clarity and say, you know what? I got to go out and I got to get it. I don't care how late it is tonight. I got to share my business with somebody. I don't care how late it is. I'm going to hand out a business card. I don't care how late it is. I'm going to make sure I need to do something to get my business out there, to get my idea out there. If you were anything like me and you're writing a book, hey, okay, tonight before I go to bed, I'm going to write a chapter, or I'm going to write 10 pages, or I'm going to write 3 pages. I'm committed to this thing, because this is how you regain traction to get back on from being distracted and being separated from your goal. Remember, if you running a race and you don't look to the left or you look to the right and you looking at what he's doing and how fast he's going and he's starting to speed up, something in you should quicken and say, oh shoot, I need to focus back on the finish line. Right? I need to focus back on the finish line. I need to remind myself of why I started this race anyway. Why do I have this uniform on? Why do I have these track shoes on? Because I want to win this race. So number one, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Number two, good evening. Keep it simple. Number two is you remind yourself of why you started whatever the idea was in the first place. Life happens, things happen, and you can get distracted. But when you always remember why you got started with something, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a business goal, because right now I am preparing for a conference. So I'm constantly reminding myself, okay, this is what I need to do to achieve the goal that I desire to have. And I have to keep it in front of me. I know how many people I'm going to have and how many people I want at my conference and what my goal is. So I literally have a vision board with that particular sign on my vision board. So every day I can wake up in the morning, I have it in my phone. So when I look at my phone, it reminds me, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the goal. We have to remind ourselves. Successful people are constantly reminded of why they're doing what they're doing, so that you will stay on course to accomplish whatever the goal is, because life will happen. Good, challenging, and the goal in the declaration is that more good is happening, more great is happening, than more things that are not so great happening. But even if the not so great happens, let me get back on course and regroup and remember and remind myself of why I started this anyway. Because I will not be defeated. I will not sit on the sidelines. I will not make excuses. I will not fall to the wayside and act like it's okay. So I'm getting refocused. So number one, keep it simple. Number two, remember why you got started. And number three, whatever the distraction was or whatever the goal is, get back at it. And again, it goes back to number one, because I'm just that coach. Let's keep it simple. We ain't got to overthink nothing. You ask yourself this question: what is the first thing that I need to do? What is the easiest thing that I need to do right now to get back on course? So if you are running a race and you got distracted because you were looking to the left or to the right, one, you got refocused on the finish line. Two, you realize, okay, I got to get back to technique, and whatever the arm, whatever the hand movements are, let me get back to the basics. So that's number four. Get back to the basics. If you are writing a book and you haven't finished the book because you were distracted, start writing again. Okay, you got writer's block. One, quit saying you got writer's block, because a block means that it's something in front of you and you can't get over it, right? But you begin to ask yourself the question, if you already started the chapter of the book, so if you have a book in mind and you already wrote the chapters out, then go back to whatever the title of the chapter is and think about who the book is for. I know I'm helping somebody who's writing a book. Excuse me. So who is the book for? What is the chapter about? Then write what they need to hear. And just start writing. Who cares if it makes sense or not? Write. That's what they have editors for. Who cares if it's grammatically correct or not? That's what you're going to pay an editor for. Remember, we keeping it simple. You can fix all those kinks and stuff later on. Forget all that. Your goal is to have the end in mind. So number one, to get back, to recover from being distracted, because I'm literally almost done. Almost done after I finish going over these. So number one, we want to keep it simple. This is how we recover from distraction. Number two, you want to ask yourself, why did I get started anyway? Number three was, I had to think about it. Number three is ask yourself, and I probably had these out of order, but ask yourself, what is the simplest and easiest thing right now that I need to do to get back on track, to start writing the book, to get my business out there, to start serving customers again, to let people know that I'm still open if you close and then you reopen. And the last thing is number four, just do it. Quit overthinking it. Quit feeling like you got to have all of these pieces together before you can do anything. Start where you are. Start with what you have. And one thing that I understand about God is that our faith pleases him. So this lets me know that when we're not in faith, we don't please him. Start with what you have and move in it consistently. So if this has helped you, and I know it has, put in helped me in the comments. Make sure you all subscribe to my channel. If you are ready to take that idea and make money from that idea, click the link in the description. Go to www.drjanee.net/conference. Register for the conference. I look forward to seeing you there. I appreciate you all, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that anytime that I'm on, you all join me. Have a delightful day, and remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all.